All right, let's get started on adding integers. Here's a couple of rules. If you're adding integers that have the same sign, like a positive number plus a positive number, that's going to give you another positive number. A real basic example of this is 2 plus 3 equals 5. We have a positive 2, plus a positive 3 gives us a positive 5. But if we have a negative number plus a negative number, that is going to equal a negative number. A good example of that would be negative 2 plus negative 3 equals negative 5. So if we look at that on the number line, we're going to go back to negative 2. Now we're not going to add a positive 3. We're not going to go to the right. We're going to add a negative 3, which is going to cause us to go to the left 1, 2, 3 spaces, and that gives us negative 5. So positive plus positive equals positive. Negative plus negative equals negative. Now let's say we're looking at different signs. Let's say we have a positive plus a negative. It's going to take the sign of the bigger number. So let's take an example of 2, positive 2, plus a negative 5. Let's see how that's going to look on our number line. Positive 2, 1, 2, plus a negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gives us a negative gives us a negative 3. So find the difference between these two numbers, difference between 2 and 5, and I take the sign of the bigger number. Let's see another example of this. So let's say this time I have 6, a positive 6, plus a negative 2. I got to find out what that's going to equal. First, I need to go positive 6 in that direction to the right because it's positive. Positive 6 plus a negative 2. Going to go back 2 because it's negative. And that brings us to positive 4. And so what I did was I found the difference. I kind of ignored the signs here. I found the difference between 6 and 2. I did 6 minus 2. And that gave me 4. And I had to decide, is that going to be positive or negative 4? Well, my bigger number is positive, so my result is going to be a positive 4. Let's see how that'll look with bigger numbers in this. So let's say I have negative 30, and then I'm going to add a positive 53. So I'm thinking, all right, whatever my answer is going to be, my bigger number here is positive, so my answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to find the difference between these two numbers, actually. So I'm going to say 53, and I'm going to subtract the 30. 53 minus 30, in that case, will give me a positive 23. Positive because the bigger number is positive. If we did 32, positive 32 plus, I'm going to say negative 75. My biggest number is a negative number, so I'm actually going to ignore my signs right now. I'm just going to take my bigger number and I'm going to subtract my smaller number, 32. Even though 32 is actually a bigger number than negative 75, I'm going to just think of it almost like the absolute value of each one. So 75 minus 32, I have 5 minus 2 gives me 3. What the heck? Orange? How did that happen? 5 minus 2 gives me 3. 7 minus 3 gives me 4. And it's going to be a negative 43 because my bigger number here is negative. 32 plus negative 75 is negative 43. If I kind of wanted to see that on the number line, I kind of just give a rough estimate. I change the numbers down here. It would be up to 32. I'd go positive 32, which goes in that direction. And then I'm adding a negative 75, which would take me about back here. And so that's how you can see how the bigger number kind of takes the sign right there. So, what if we're in a situation where we have more than two numbers? Which sign does our sum get if we're adding more than two numbers with different signs? Well, my strategy is I add up all my positive numbers together to get one positive number. So what that means in this case, I have a positive 8, a positive 4, and a positive 2. So I'm going to say 8 plus 4 gives me 12. 12 plus 2 gives me 14. So I have a positive 14. And then I'm going to add up all my negative numbers to get one negative number. I have negative 3 and a negative 5. So negative 3 plus negative 5 gives me a negative 8. And I can just think of that as 3 plus 5 and then just put a negative sign in front of it. So now this is a little bit simpler. I know this is going to be a positive number because my bigger number is positive. The difference between 14 and 8 is going to be 6. And so I have a positive 6. And here's one more example. I have a 6 plus negative 4 plus 5 plus negative 12 plus 2. Again, I'm going to put all my positive numbers together. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. And then I'm going to add all my negative numbers together. Negative 4 plus negative 12 is negative 16. Plus negative 2 is negative 18. So in this case, I know my answer is going to be negative because between these two numbers, my bigger number is negative. The difference between 18 and 11 is going to be 7, and it's going to be a negative 7 because this 18 is bigger. The negative 18 is bigger. So that's adding positive and negative numbers, either 2 or more.